Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad and ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome once again to Meditation and Murākabah. It is truly a blessing to reflect together on matters that shape not only our daily lives but also our eternal journey. When we look at a society around us, we notice that something very interesting. Our families, our gatherings, and even our daily decisions are often guided not by religion but by cultures. The way we arrange marriages, the way elders make decisions for the youngs, the way honor is attached to family name, much of it comes not from the Qur'an or the Sunnah but from traditions passed down for generations. This culture has become so deeply dissolved into our bloodstream that we often do not even recognize the difference anymore. Many times, if someone dares to step outside of a culture practice, it is immediately seen as arrogance, as if that person is dishonoring the family. Parents may say, "This is how your grandparents lived. This is how we do things," and children feel guilty for even thinking differently. The tragedy is that such things unconsciously gives Shaitan a win-win situation, because he loves nothing more than to see us confuse human traditions with divine guidance. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, Islam came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in its purest form, timeless, perfect. Culture, on the other hand, is made by people, by families, shifting with time, geography. The two are not the same, and when we begin to mix them, we risk compromising the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the comfort of the society. This is why we must pause, reflect, and ask, what does Islam really say about the family system, about independence, and about the respect of relatives? Only then can we find balance that brings harmony, barakah, and peace into our lives. You see, in Islam, marriage is not just a bond between two people. It is the birth of a new household. It is the birth of a new family. It is the birth of new hearts learning to love each other, trying to adjust between each other. The birth of new minds beginning to think together, and the birth of new thoughts that dream of an independent life built on faith, on trust, and responsibility. Yes, in some cultures, the joint family is honored as the only way, but Islam's teaching is different. A household in Islam is meant to be its own foundation, a place of privacy, dignity, and growth, while still keeping and maintaining love, respect, and the ties of kinship alive. It is in this balance that barakah descends, where two souls join to walk their path, yet never forgetting the roots from which they came from. That is respect with healthy boundaries. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in the Qur'an. So would you perhaps, if you turn away, cause corruption on earth and sever your ties of kinship? Such are the ones Allah has cursed. Surah Muhammad, chapter number 47, verse number 22 and 23. This verse is very profound. It warns us that when people turn away, meaning when they go to another place or separate from their family, they must not do so in a way that spreads corruption, injustice, or that cut ties with kinship. The real prohibition is against breaking the bond and bringing shame or harm to the family relationships through wrong actions. But please note carefully, the verse also does not say that you must live under one roof, nor that staying in one house is the definition of righteousness. On the contrary, Islam allows and sometimes even encourages physical space when it protects peace and dignity. What matters is respect, kindness, and fulfilling rights, whether one lives together or separately. Thus, the Qur'anic teaching is very clear. Distance itself is not the problem. The real danger is doing wrong, causing corruption, humiliating your family, or cutting ties with arrogance and anger. Islam teaches us to maintain kinships with love and respect, whether near or far, with balance between closeliness and independence. Now let us touch on a very delicate matter, the relationship between parents and their grown children. Islam commands kindness, respect, and obedience to parents, but it also sets limits. Once children are married, their household is their responsibility. Parents must respect their independence and not interfere in their private affairs. Yes, guidance should always be available whenever asked, but it should never be enforced. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has mentioned, there is no obedience to creation in disobedience to the Creator by Musnad Ahmad, which means if cultural pressure, even from parents, goes against what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded, then the child must kindly but firmly choose the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this brings us to an important point, which is, what is the role of the culture? You see, culture can be a source of beauty and harmony. It is shaped by time, by geography and people. But, and this is very crucial, cultures are made by people. They did not come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam, on the other hand, came directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the revelation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, this day I have perfected for you your religion and completed my favor upon you and have approved for you Islam as your religion. Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 3. Islam is perfect, eternal and universal. Cultures are temporary, they change and often flawed. Where culture aligns with justice and harmony, Islam welcomes it. But where culture contradicts the Qur'an and Sunnah, Islam rejects it. Sadly, we see today that some people or families value culture more than religion. They compromise Islamic teachings for the sake of what people will say, for the sake of honor or tradition. But honor belongs only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The Prophet also declared in his farewell sermon, all matters of the days of ignorance are abolished and beneath my feet, by Musnad Ahmad. Now look at the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. He had two noble wives, Sayyida Saira alayhi salam and Sayyida Hajar alayhi salam. Naturally, as human beings, emotions arose between them and jealousy appeared. And what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree in this situation? That Ibrahim alayhi salam was commanded to take Hajar alayhi salam with her infant son, Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, far away to the valley of Mecca, a barren land at that time. Now from one perspective, this looks like separation, but in truth, this was the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect harmony within the household, to honor the dignity of both wives, and to prepare the foundation of the greatest legacy, the rise of the Kaaba and the lineage of the final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This teaches us something very deep. Sometimes physical separation is not a failure for family, but rather a means of maintaining peace, dignity, and fulfilling Allah's greater plan. Islam accepts that closeliness without balance can breed jealousy and conflict, but with space, respect, and boundaries, harmony can be preserved. So my dear brothers and sisters, Islam's family system is one of balance, independent households, mutual respect, and ties of kinship that are strong but not suffocating. Cultures will rise and fall, but Islam remains timeless, a divine guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.